Hello. Today I'm going to tell you the single greatest story that's ever been told. I say the story's the greatest, not because I think I'm an incredible storyteller, but because it contains incredibly good news for everyone and everything on earth. This is the story of God. Now, you may have heard bits and pieces of this grand story when you were growing up. You may have even told some of these shorter stories yourself. But pay close attention, because there's a chance you've never heard it quite like this before. There's a special prayer that Christians all around the world pray when they talk to God. It's called the Lord's Prayer, and in it, there's an interesting line that asks God's kingdom to come and God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, did you know that there was once a time on earth when that's exactly the way everything was? When God first created humans, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of earth were all together in one space. To give you a visual, if the kingdom of God was yellow and the kingdom of earth was blue, then creation would have been a beautiful green, because as you know, yellow and blue make green. Now, when I say the kingdom of God, I'm talking about any space where God is king. Any place where God rules, reigns, or exercises control. Anywhere that his creation serves him and obeys his commands. When God's kingdom was fully present everywhere on this earth, it was truly glorious. Everything and everyone was whole. There was nothing missing and nothing broken. There was relational wholeness. Everyone lived in harmony with each other. They treated each other with love and kindness. There were no bullies, no breakups, and no hurt feelings. There was emotional wholeness. Everyone lived in harmony with themselves. They had a clear sense of identity and purpose, and no one had a broken heart. There was physical wholeness. Everyone lived in harmony with nature, taking good care of plants and animals and water. Everyone had strong and healthy bodies that did not get sick and did not die. Everyone had all of their physical needs met, so no one was hungry or homeless. And last, but certainly not least, there was spiritual wholeness. Everyone lived in harmony with God. They loved God and lived in close relationship with him. But sadly, this did not go on forever. God was the kind of king who did not require his people to remain in his kingdom, and eventually humans decided they wanted to set up their own. They did not want God telling them what to do anymore, so they left his kingdom and began to rule themselves. When that happened, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of earth separated from each other, and a lot of things on earth began to break. In God's kingdom, everyone treated each other with great love and kindness. But when humans took over, they began to beat each other up, tear each other down, and break each other's hearts. In God's kingdom, everyone took care of God's plants and animals. But when humans took over, they began to misuse and abuse the rest of creation. In God's kingdom, no one got sick and no one died. But when humans took over, diseases began to spread. In God's kingdom, everyone had a place to live and enough food to eat. But when humans took over, they became greedy and took money from the weak so they could be rich while others became poor. In God's kingdom, everyone knew who they were and why they were here. But when humans took over, they forgot how special and significant they were. This led to broken, confused, and restless hearts. In God's kingdom, everyone loved God and got to be close to him. But when humans took over, they stopped loving God and ran away from him. I know, all of this is really bad news. But sometimes we have to understand the gravity of the bad news before we can appreciate the incredible nature of the good news. And as I said before, this is a story of incredibly good news for everyone and everything on this earth. So here it is. The unbelievably good news of this epic story is that God did not abandon us even after we abandoned him. God the King went to work reestablishing his kingdom on earth. He invited humans to serve him once again, and as they did so, he began to restore each and every area of brokenness that human rebellion had created. In our time together, we're going to explore each category of brokenness I just described. And over time, I hope you'll come to see how God has a plan to restore his glorious kingdom on this earth, both in and through you in so many different ways. You see, the kingdom of God is continuing to break through into the kingdom of earth whenever humans choose to serve God as king, as they did once before, which means that whenever we choose to serve God as king, we get to be a part of his grand plan for the restoration of everyone and everything. And to top it all off, God has promised that one day the kingdom of God and the kingdom of earth will be all together in the same space once again. And when that time comes, anyone who had chosen to become a citizen of God's kingdom during their time on earth will get to live in that kingdom forever. That means that if God is our king in the here and now, then one day we will enjoy relational, emotional, physical, and spiritual wholeness in this glorious kingdom on earth for all of eternity. And that's really good news.